Hi guys, this is Clazart bringing you another audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on a game between Nalra and July, and this is game 2 of the MSL round of 16. July won the first game, and that was on Python, in which Nalra rushed and failed. So this is going to be an interesting game. This is actually being played on the map MontyPython, and that makes it for a very interesting game. I do think Nalra has what it takes to come back and win the series. July, on the other hand, has been in formidable form this season and has been very, very difficult to beat. He has been playing some excellent StarCraft. I do expect both players to fast expand, and I do expect this to be a long game. I do expect July to go for 3 hatcheries, for a 3-hatch build, and I expect Nalra to fast expand, simply because of the fact that rushes are so difficult to execute on this map. That being said, however, you have seen from time to time Protoss players cheesing on this map, and Protoss players are the most equipped to cheese on this map because of the fact that their probes can get through the mineral lines so easily, and because they can build wherever they want. Excuse me. So in that respect, definitely Protoss players do have a little bit of an advantage. And Nalra just starting off a pylon there at the south of his base. Nalra has started off at the top left corner playing Protoss in blue, and July has started off at the bottom right corner playing Zerg in brown. If I had to give the advantage to one player overall, I would probably give it to July. And oh my god, July has just built a spawning pool. July has just built a spawning pool in his base, and that is very surprising to me. I don't understand why he's building a spawning pool now. I don't understand what sort of advantage he thinks he's going to gain from doing that. Maybe he wants to try and tech up or increase his technology, but I don't see the point of building a spawning pool unless you're trying to fast tech, and he's not fast tech. He was just using that extractor as an extractor trick to get himself an extra drone. So I don't understand what July is trying to do. It's very hard to rush on this map against Protoss, considering the fact that those mineral lines are going to block your Zerglings through. It's going to be very hard for July to rush. Maybe he's anticipating that Nalra will go for a fast expansion and not have any defenses up, and if he can get a few Zerglings in, then he can do damage to Nalra. But it definitely looks like July is trying to pull off some sort of rush. Nalra does look like he's going for that fast expansion. He's got that forge up, so it looks like he is going to be fast expanding, and he's sending a probe down towards to make that. Okay, he's not. He's actually going with that probe towards July's base. It looks like he's going to scout and just see what July is building while he gets his resources for that fast expansion. And Nalra has actually planted a pylon behind July's mineral line without sending his probe through, so it looks like Nalra is going to be attacking July, and he's got that forge up, so it looks like Nalra is going for a cannon rush. Nalra is going for a cannon rush against July. Both players going for cheese on this most unlikely of maps for cheese. Nalra actually building up that gateway, so that's very, very clever by Nalra. He's positioned that pylon behind those minerals, making it unattackable by July's Zerglings when he does have them. The only thing working in July's favor is that he does have those Zerglings, and if July can detect this rush, he might be able to put a stop to it. But July is going through the south of base towards Nalra. I don't think July's rush is going to be effective, because all Nalra has to do is put up a cannon and he can stop that rush. And Nalra is going to, if Nalra sees July coming, he's going to be able to stop it. And Nalra has spotted July because he's got that probe down south, so he has spotted July's rush, and Nalra is building a cannon there just south of his base at that mineral line. So July is not going to be able to get through that mineral line because of that cannon. But July is rushing up here. If he can get through before that cannon comes up, he might be able to deal some damage. And Nalra has actually cancelled his gateway inside July's base, so I don't know what the point of that was. That was a bit silly by Nalra to actually cancel that gateway. He's cancelled the gateway that he was building inside July's base. And July now trying to get through with that with the Zerglings, and one of the Zerglings gets through. The cannon is almost finished though, and that probe dies, and Nalra brings more probes to reinforce his defenses, and that cannon is up. So that attack fails for July. So July's rush fails. It looks to me definitely like this game is getting very, very bad for July. It looks like Nalra is getting a huge advantage here, because Nalra is building the gateways back inside July's main, so July in desperate trouble. July now going for that extractor. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He's also put up a hatchery down at the bottom left base, so Nalra's got 2 gateways up inside July's base, and July looks to me in desperate trouble. He's not going to be able to take down those gateways because Nalra's got photon cannons safely behind the mineral lines defending them, and July's going to find himself in a huge spot of bother. He needs to put down a sunken or something to defend his base, because Nalra's going to be producing zealots very, very soon. July now with a 3rd hatchery, so I guess July's going to try and mass produce those Zerglings. July with a 3rd hatchery inside his main. I guess he feels he needs the larvae, he needs the extra units to be able to cope with Nalra's attack. Nalra now has 1 gateway up. He's also got a further cannon up. Nalra establishing himself further and further inside July's base, establishing a strong presence. July's got his overlord over Nalra's base, but Nalra won't care because he's going to be concentrating on this rush, and it looks like he might actually be able to pull off this rush. I'm not sure if I think July killed off a drone there, but Nalra's first zealot is out, and Nalra's zealot is not positioned very, very well. He might get trapped by those Zerglings. July tries to surround him, but Nalra very cleverly trying to lure those, and he actually kills one Zergling there. Nalra very clever with some micro lures those Zerglings away, but he does not know that July is building a Hydralisk den. So July is building a Hydralisk den, and that's a very, very clever move by July. He needs to get that Hydralisk den out. Nalra's zealot once again getting surrounded, but surviving with just a sliver of help. July moving away. So July doing very clever move by building up that Hydralisk den, because Nalra only has zealots, and therefore July will be able to attack those gateways from outside the range of those gateways, and he'll be able to produce drones and Hydralisks from those 3 hatcheries. And Nalra now proxying again, and this time behind July's expansion at 6 o'clock. And Nalra's built a pylon there, and looks like he's going to try and do a cannon rush from there as well on July's base. So that's very, very clever by Nalra. He's attacking July on all fronts, and July, even if he takes out this base, not going to expect Nalra to attack him from behind. And Nalra's got that pylon up. He's also put up another pylon in July's base, which he's defending with his zealots and the help of his cannons. July's got a fair few Zerglings, but that pylon is in the range of Nalra's cannons, and he's got 5 zealots there, so July's going to have a very difficult time. And Nalra builds a further 2 gateways behind July's base at 6 o'clock, so Nalra proxying even more there, and July's got his first Hydrolis scout, so that's going to allow him, once he gets a few more, to allow him to take out Nalra's base in his main. But Nalra at the same time has got a further 2 gateways that are going to take July by surprise, and Nalra now putting up that cannon. If that cannon goes up, July's going to have a hard time against it, but July does have a Hydrolis that's able to hit that cannon from outside the range of Nalra's cannons, and Nalra forced to cancel that cannon. So it does look like July will survive this rush of Nalra, and that could be trouble for Nalra if July can counter very, very quickly with Hydrolis, because Nalra has invested a lot of resources in this rush. July definitely looks to have a slight economic advantage here, and that's going to give July an advantage in this game, because Nalra's rush looks to be failing. Nalra still has a lot of zealots, though he might still be able to hurt July's economy. The only thing that's bad for July is that he does not have a lot of drones. He spent most of his resources building up. And Nalra building a nexus now. Nalra going for a nexus and south of his base in the middle lane. Nalra realizing that July is going to be able to hold off this rush, and that July is going to be able to stop this attack of Nalra's. And July goes in, he takes the cannon down. Nalra's zealots have been surrounded by July's Zerglings. He pulls those Zerglings back. The cannon behind the gateway has gone down. So July is definitely going to, and Nalra has lost all of his zealots. So July is definitely going to be able to take these gateways down and take down these gateways inside his main. The thing is, Nalra realizes that his attack is not successful, and therefore he has started to build a nexus just in the middle lane to try and give himself an economic advantage, try and catch up with the fact that July has got 3 hatcheries, and July mass producing Hydrolis there, and now this could spell trouble for Nalra. He's going to lose those gateways, and he's got a zealot. He's going to try and scout July's base. July, though, doesn't know that Nalra has built a second proxy behind that 630 expansion. I'm not sure how effective that proxy from Nalra is going to be. He hasn't produced any units from it yet, and he's just running back with a zealot. It looks like that proxy's gone, so Nalra must have cancelled that proxy. He just has a pylon there. He's cancelled that proxy, and Nalra now building that nexus. So Nalra trying to give himself an economic advantage, and he doesn't have a lot of army there, so he is vulnerable to a counterattack. However, fortunately from Nalra, July is going to be prevented from doing a full-scale counterattack by those mineral lines, and Nalra is positioning that cannon behind that mineral line there, but July should be able to take that pylon out from outside the range of that cannon, and therefore render that cannon useless. So Nalra does look to me to be behind in this now. July can concentrate on pumping drones and building up his economy, and therefore causing trouble for Nalra. He still hasn't taken that second gas, but he should be able to tech to lair fairly soon, and this is going to spell trouble for Nalra. The problem for July is that he still can't get at Nalra's base because of those mineral lines, so he's not able to counter Nalra, and this is giving Nalra some sliver of hope. And Nalra has got his second expansion up, so Nalra equaling July in terms of economy, certainly. And so the economic advantage that we were hoping for July, that July should have after that failed rush by Nalra, has not materialized, because Nalra has gotten that second nexus up. And now July is going to try and attack Nalra's base. He's sending his Hydrolis up down the south path. He's also taking out that cannon against it, but Nalra's got a cannon that's outside of July's Hydrolis range, so July cannot hit that cannon behind the mineral line, and it's outside of July's Hydrolis main. And Nalra's put up a further cannon, so Nalra is setting up a defensive line there. July is not going to be able to get over that. He's not even going to be able to mine those minerals. Nalra has now also got a Stargate up, so he's going to be producing Corsairs, and July is not even going to be able to mine those minerals with his drone to clear that mineral line to get at Nalra's expansion in the middle. And Nalra building another expansion, so he must feel confident that he can defend it. Nalra building another expansion, this time just in the middle of the map outside July's main, so that's brilliant by Nalra. He's got those cannons there that he feels are going to be able to defend against July, and July going to lair because he needs to be able to either drop or get air or something to actually able to get out Nalra's forces, because Nalra doesn't have a lot of units. He just has a few cannons and defenses, so that's very clever by July. Nalra now building the Stargate to try and accomplish some air superiority, and and he's going to be producing Corsairs from there very soon, try and harass July's overlords. Nalra has got his third nexus, his second expansion, in the middle lane, just outside July's main, just north of July's main in the middle lane, and that's very, very bad for July. July has got a significant number of Hydrolis, though. The problem is he can't get them into Nalra's main. He has got his lair complete, and he's building his spire, so July not going for the drop. He is going for Mutalist. I guess he realizes that Nalra is going to be building Crosshairs, and Nalra's first Crosshairs is out, and he's taking out July's overlord in his main. And so July, realizing that Nalra is building Crosshairs, is trying to counter that by building a spire of his own to build Mutalist and Scourges for those Corsairs. But Nalra's Corsairs